I want to talk compost today and how easy it is to make all the compost you need for your garden. I'm just finishing sifting my compost I made from September to February that I used to put on my beds this year before the spring planting. It's March 18th today, and the garden looks great. I still have a little bit of compost left over, and I want to show you how I make this. It's the easiest thing in the world. Anybody can do this. No more buying fertilizers or anything else, and make everything you need for your garden right at your house. Let me show you the garden today and what it looks like. So everything is looking really good in all of my beds. All the peppers, tomatoes. Jolie says hello. 2 main ingredients that go into my compost, plus a secret weapon, I'll call it. But the 2 main ingredients, the first one is just my grass clippings for my nitrogen. Every time I mow my lawn, about 25 feet by 60 feet mowable space, I collect the grass clippings. They go into the compost bin. The other ingredient is just all of my scrap paper, junk mail, anything that we buy at the grocery store that doesn't have heavy ink in it, glossy ink. I bought a shredder, and everything goes through the shredder. This serves 2 purposes. And the first purpose is it's the second ingredient to my compost. I'll talk about what the next purpose is for that in a moment. But let me take you through how I do this. Every time I mow my lawn, I take my grass clippings. Let me show you the compost bin first so you can see what we're working with here. My compost bin right now, I don't know if you can see that, is at about 100 degrees. You can see on the side walls, I hope, where this was about up to here before, it is all shrunk down to there, and that's normal. I add in, my compost is already brown here on the bottom, so I add in grass clippings, and we'll add all of it. Spread it out. I could have done that in 2 layers, but that's all right. I spread it out. Next thing I'll do is I'll grab my hose. And I just give it a good wet down to get it to stay in there. So basically just so it won't blow away, which isn't really a problem now that I've got my lid on my compost bin. But 3 things that your compost needs is your inputs, your materials, but it also needs air and it needs water. Just be careful about how much water you put in it. Too much water is a lot harder to deal with than too little, which is why I have the lid, so if we have heavy rains, I don't have soggy compost that I have to take out and dry out. And that's plenty of water. Next thing I do, take some of my paper here, and this will blow away, and I put a layer of shredded paper on top. A layer of shredded paper on top, and it's the same process. I water this down. I'll finish that here after the video. You get the idea. Last thing I do, put my thermometer back in. That's it. Close the lid on the compost bin. That will heat back up again to 130, 140 degrees for a few days. It will shrink down, and then I'll continue to do that. In about maybe 2 months, 2.5 months, I'll flip it over into this side and let it finish off, and I'll start adding more, a new pile to this side. My secret weapon is right behind me, and I think you can hear them. This is our chickens. I have 2 chickens. We have 2 chickens. It's only my wife and I in this house, so we don't need more than 2. We get about 1 to 2 eggs a day from these 2 chickens. I'd say on average 5 days a week we get 1 egg, 2 days a week we get 2 eggs. But more importantly, the chickens take all of the food scraps. Basically anything that doesn't have a bone, I'm giving to the chickens. I don't put any of the food scraps in my compost bin. Everything goes to the chickens. For the bedding in the chicken coop and the bedding in the run, I use the same shredded paper that I put in my compost bin. I used to buy pine shavings, and I don't need to because I get so much junk mail. I take a lot of notes at work, so I've got pads and pads of paper. And I shred that all up. Those go into the chicken coop. Once every 3 months, I will clean out all the bedding in the chicken coop. And when I'm doing the same process with the lawn clippings, I'll add the bedding from the chicken coop into my compost bin. And this has worked fantastically for me. Composting is simple. It does not take a lot of time. You saw that 2 minutes every few weeks. To turn it from this side to this side will take another 30 minutes every 3 months, 3 to 4 months. And the results are I have enough compost to fill these beds 2 times a year with 1 to 2 inches of compost on the top. I have enough compost to start all of my seeds. I have enough compost for potted plants. I have enough compost to feed the plants that are in the front of my home. It is fantastic. So thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and please subscribe.